All right, good afternoon. My name is Anton Diaz, and I'm with
Hi, my
Nikki.
name's Nikki Yu. I'm also known as Faces Trader, and I do conduct all the awesome 10x classes for the Philippines and global markets.
All
So,
right,
yon.
so this afternoon, we will ask Nikki anything about trading stock. So the title of this session is "Ask Me Anything Newbie Trading Questions." So if you have any questions for Nikki on trading, particularly global stock trading, we're focusing on global stock trading. And I know we have a lot of new students, Nikki, and they have a lot of questions also. And if you have any questions, just join us in the YouTube channel. Put your questions in the comments, and we'll answer them throughout this session. All right, Nikki. So I think we'll go
Sige, go.
first. I'll ask you. No, I'll be the one to ask you the question, and
And I
so
just
we have a
answer.
question sa Slack. Okay, I'll just read the
Mm-hmm.
Slack question first.
Okay,
I think
sure.
most of them already know like how to open IBKR. So we use interactive brokers when we trade globally. So the question is, I appreciate all the stock picks. So you discussed this in your YouTube channel. And as a newbie, I want to learn how to decide which stocks to put in my portfolio first. So that's the main question. Like today, I learned that I need to invest on YY, SoftBank, and Facebook are the three plays for booming live streaming sector, which was our topic last Friday. Now, do I just buy all three at what price? How do I look at the chart of these three, decide when to buy, or these are long-term picks? Can I enter at any price? So I actually encounter all these questions also, Nikki. Parang how do they enter into the stock ba? Do they bid for it? Do they get it at market price? Maybe you can share how can someone new build their portfolio and pick the stocks and how to enter the stocks.
Okay, so there are many questions inside that question. So let me try to answer one by one. Um, you asked me a while ago if he should allocate how much for you mentioned the live streaming platform. So we tackled live streaming platforms last Friday in our class, and he isolated that he wanted to invest in YY. Probably he wanted to invest in Facebook, isn't it? Or maybe a lot of other things. So the thing about these companies is that you have to understand that your portfolio, if I tell you a portfolio, first and foremost, know your asset allocation. So how much cash do you have? So it's a question really of you. If I am a person and I only have, let's say, if I can only allocate maybe 15,000 pesos for stocks at the moment, that would be $300 for the month. Because the stocks that you would put there are actually for your long-term portfolios. It's not meant to make money in the next week or the next week. So some people, I always encourage them, your long-term portfolio nest egg has to have at least 15 to 20 stocks. So assuming that I plan to invest, let's say, $10,000 for the year, that would be around 500,000 pesos. Divide that 12 months, I have to come up with 40,000 pesos for the month. Now, how do I buy 15 companies? Do I buy 15 companies today as of March or April or May or June, July, August, September? Or is it like every month? So usually I tell people who are new that they don't need to quickly buy 15 companies within a day. So since he's beginning, it's normal for anyone to actually be scared that if he bought, let's assume that he chose to buy YY. So YY today, the price is about 79, 77. If you look at the chart, it was a breakout at 64 and 77. Sorry, 64. Technically 64. Now, maybe some people don't know. How can Nikki say that the chart of YY is 64? Maybe you go to YY chart right now. I'll show to you some stock price, simple support resistance. Click that full feature chart. Click the full feature chart. so that I can like show it. Um, you could see actually that YY has consolidated. Medyo gets ba? Or I have to show my own screen? Kailangan ba ako magpakita? Anyway, I'll try to share my screen if I can. You could see that YY, basically, the chart of YY steadily was sleeping. For those who aren't, siguro for a new person, they don't understand what a breakout means. They don't understand what a support resistance means. So I'll try to explain in layman's term. Resistance means that this was a price level that for the last maybe 5, 6 months or 7 months has always had a buyer. Support means that for the last 6 to 7 months, that price has always had a buyer. For YY as a company, you could see that the price has steadily stayed between from March till about July. Let's say just take an entire like 1 year. Could see that the range of Joy Inc. actually, you can go to the chart. The chart of YY, make it line, make that a daily chart and then show the entire 2020. So I'm sorry guys if you're new, maybe you can get a little, maybe my answer is complicated for you, but it's very clear for breakout chartists to see that Joy Inc. had a breakout at $66. So it only means that from August 2019, from August 2019 till around as late as May or June 2020, Joy Inc. settled in a range from 52 to 66. From $52 to $66, every time it went down to 52, there was a buyer. Every time it broke, every time it hit 66, there was a seller. So 66 was actually a buy zone. Now, some fundamentalists knew that 52 was a good support. They studied the company well. So that at 52, they had already been buying. To be honest, Joy Inc., I have been buying this since last year at about 52 to 66. So I've been buying within that zone. But those people who bought at 52 to 66 would also be selling at 90, 89. Now, right now, the Joy Inc., the chart is actually from as high as 100, it's now 76. The part that it could actually go down is 66. And then the reward can go somewhere from 100 to 140. Now, you might, I'm not sure if naiintindihan nyo yung sinasabi ko. For newbies, usually the right answer is you should know that when you buy a company, you should be ready for a drop. But you cannot actually be saying that if I can buy at 66, why will I buy 76? Or why will I buy at $80? The reason why you're buying at 80 or 76, or even if it goes to 66, is because you cannot always be precise in your timing. The question kasi is loaded eh. It seems like a newbie question, but there's no perfect price to buy a company if a company you believe is an awesome 10x pick. If you believe that a live streaming platform is the future, what that means is that it will grow. The upside is larger, the downside is smaller. From 76 all the way to 66, even if it goes down to 52, the reality is a buyer should allocate buying every quarter, or at the very least, I tell people, this is usually my guideline, 5% of their portfolio. So if it's a $10,000 account, 5% is $500. That means that he has to know that he wants to put 25,000 pesos into YY. Whether he buys 25,000 pesos or $500 worth at 76, or he buys it at 66, or he buys it at 89, he has to actually risk assess for himself. The risk is it goes down $10. The reward is that it goes away 100, $200 higher in the next 3 years. I always tell people for a 20% crash versus a 200% reward, you have to tell yourself, what are you in here for? Are you here for the risk that it can fall 20%? Or are you here for the 200% reward? Because you yourself know that the streaming platform is a future. Now, the question a while ago was, should I buy all three companies at once? Um, you can, because you have the bigger reward, but so like three companies invested versus a plan of investing 15 means you're actually under invested. So I tell people who are zero weight in stocks to actually assess how much did you really plan investing in US stocks? How much allocation have you invested in? If you tell me that you have 0% exposure, or you only have like 1% of your entire net worth in USA markets, then you are very underinvested. Of course, this has a lot of answers. What's your age? How much time can you invest in the market? And then how much asset allocation can you actually provide for your stocks? Because if you tell me that I can only invest 15,000 pesos for the month, 15 times 12, that's 180,000 pesos. That's just about $4,000. Then 5% of $4,000 is $200. You should invest maybe 10,000 pesos immediately. And then your 190,000 pesos is the next few days, the next few months. Medyo naiintindihan ba, Anton? Or sobrang labo ba yung mga sagot ko? I can't hear you. Nagsasalita ka ba?
Yes,
Ayun,
yes. Sorry.
yun. I can hear
Um,
you now.
okay. Just a question, Nikki. So, like this YY example, no? This
Mm.
is a very good example. At 76. So, para lang madali lang, can they buy at market? Kasi anyway, it's going down and it could go up naman. And they'll just buy more, if it goes down. Can they buy at market? Would
To
you
me,
advise
kasi
that?
I'll buy at market because at 76, I don't really care if it goes 66. So parang some people, they'll wait and wait and wait, try to wait at 66, it's okay. But for me kasi, winners don't really don't fall for a very long time. The fact that Joy Inc. Already broke 66, that tells me na 66 went to 100 immediately. And you should know that the reason why 100 it's going down to 76 is because Bigo Live, kasi specific to why Bigo Live is banned in India. So that drop, I think, is caused by the India. But yun, so I'm buying YY
Okay.
Inc. because I don't believe that the ban in India is forever. Plus, I do believe that YY is in 150 countries. So one country, while it's very big, I do think India is very big. It doesn't negate my thesis that live streaming platforms, because YY has China, live streaming platforms in China is growing a lot. So parang pwede yan ma-offset. So I look at it, some of the parts, it's positive versus one small negative. Yun.
Okay. We'll go to the questions from the chat. Maraming mga questions eh.
Sure.
So we'll go first with Ryan. What books or authors that inspired your strategy?
The reality is, I have a lot of, I'd say, I do like a lot of books, but one book in particular, I like to really highlight Chris Mayer's 100 Baggers. So this is actually Chris Mayer. You can actually follow him on Twitter. He's very, the thing about Twitter is that everyone is so friendly, guys. So you can just really hit them up and chat with them if you want to. Chris Mayer wrote a book, 100 Baggers. He studied all the companies that went 100. That means that your $10,000 went $1,000,000. So he studied like 365 companies that I think for a time period, his studies, I think his data was 1965 till year 2016. He released that book something like 2016. So I'll be very honest, guys. I didn't read the book. However, I know the summaries. I've read a lot of articles about that book. It actually ingrained into me that I can actually find 100x. What does 100x mean? I can turn $10,000 to $1,000,000 if I know how to choose the right companies. If I buy companies that started small that became large. So for those viewers here, there are a lot of companies that went 100x. Some names you know. Some names are as easy as Starbucks. Starbucks went from about 33 cents to as high as $100. You can go to the charts actually to find that. Companies, of course, that you are familiar with, the Amazon went $1 to $3,300. That's 3,300x. That's not just 100x. That's a 3,000x. Of course, I always emphasize this. There are a lot of e-commerce names, a lot of gaming names. I can actually name. I can actually name for you hundreds and hundreds of stocks if you want me to shower you. But the real, my inspiration as well. One author that really inspired me is not an author. Well, he is an author, but he's not just an author. If you are aware of Motley Fools, the David Gardner and Tom Gardner, the Gardner brothers. So they have a podcast. You can follow them on Spotify. They have YouTube clips. Motley Fools is a it's a subscription service in USA. But they also have free, like free podcasts. You can just follow them. I love their podcast, Rule Breaker Investing. I follow their podcast, Market Foolery as well, Industry Focus. So it might be daunting for most people, but I think if you love something, you kind of will spend 2 to 3 hours at the very least. Uh, and really, long-term investing is one of the best ways to make a lot of money. We're not talking about just 10x. Sometimes it's 100x, guys. Sometimes it's even 1,000x. The way that these high quality companies moved over time. So yeah, that would be Motley Fool podcast.
Okay,
Those
so
are just
you
a few of my parang top picks.
itong
Rule
rule
breaker
breaker investing.
investing, try to listen. Super
Okay.
ganda niyan. Yeah, Rule Breaker Investing. That's all free, guys. Motley Fool Podcast. These are all free. Market Foolery, Industry Focus. I don't go to the Motley Fool Money and Motley Fool Answers, maybe because it's too newbie for me. But these are all good. If you have to just listen to one, listen to Rule Breaker Investing. That would be the best, in my view.
Okay. All right. That's good. Good answer. Next question. There's a
Go.
question on gold, diba? So what's your bias on gold?
I am biased. I am no. I am bullish on gold. But I
Did you
think
buy
like the
gold?
best money that you could, yeah, you can buy them. Triple AU is a gold. It's a ticker in gold. It's like we mentioned this in class, guys. Eh.
Yes.
So you can like but I think like the best money that you could make for gold is actually gold miners. You need to dig deep. You can't just say oh, gold ounce. Okay, you can say that gold ounce is 1819, but that's actually a lazy attack, to be honest. That's one of the laziest attacks. I'm not saying that it's wrong to be lazy. People usually buy gold through ETFs, exchange traded funds. An example of an ETF is triple AU. That's AAAU. So it's Australia Perth Mint. They have 165,000 ounces of gold. It's stored in a vault in Perth, Australia, and then it's 100% correlated. If gold goes up, it goes up. If gold goes down, it goes down. So that's one mirror. Of course, everyone knows GLD, GDX, GDXJ. Actually, sobrang daming gold companies in the world that if you want a better return, you have to study you have to study which are the gold miners. Of course, people would I'd say that a lot of people medyo tamad sila, so they go for just GLD. Pero that's not really the best attack for gold.
And can you still
Like
enter
for
now?
this month alone, there was a um at 1.9, your risk is that it goes to 1.7. Your reward is about 2.4. Pero to be honest, to make 20% gain in 3 years in gold, it's not as attractive for me. Kasi I can find so many 100, 200% winners eh. I prefer wearables than gold, honestly speaking. I prefer some big tech companies. I prefer some games. But I'm not bearish gold. I mean, I'm just being honest here. There's just so much money to be made in the world. When you're talking about global, there's so much money. I prefer making money on Tencent and Teslas rather than on gold. But it depends on people. I mean, it depends on people.
Okay.
I'm not bearish on gold.
Okay. Um
Hindi ko ba
Me-
na-answer? The answer, the best
nasagot
way
ko na.
kasi to attack gold is gold miners eh. Pero you need research. I mean, I won't reveal to you the gold picks I have. Research yun eh. Gold miners.
Yeah.
May mga gold miners na magwa 100%. Attacking the gold is a lot of ways.
Do you recommend IPO of Array AREIT? Ano ba to? Global ba to?
That's Ayala REIT eh. So that's Philippines.
Ayala rin pala to. Philippines pala to.
So Ayala REIT to me is a 10% return. But kami in Global Awesome 10X, I know that this sounds crazy, but we are investing in secular winners eh. So I'm looking for like mga 10X means 1,000% returns in 10 years. So hindi ako masyado, to be honest, hindi ako tumitingin ng 10% na return.
What's your minimum?
But it's a 10% return, I think.
What's your minimum when you look?
No, I'm
when you
looking
invest?
for 10X returns.
10x talaga. Okay, that's
I'm
good.
really looking for 10X secular trends. Yeah, so I'm like looking for, but I'm talking about 10X return in about 10 years. I'm not talking about 10X returns in a year. Wala namang magte-10X. I mean, minsan tsaka-chamba ka lang, nakaka-10X ka in a year, pero chamba yun eh. 10X can happen in 10 years. Mga 6 years, 6 to 10 years. 6 to 10 years on average, kaya. Kasi we're looking for compounded growth of about 50% returns eh. Hindi yung mga nag-gain lang ng 10% a year.
In a year, it needs to be 50% up. Paano ba? How do you look at it? So every year 50%, no?
Usually a 10x winner would display 30%, 50% gains in a year, compound mo ng 10 years. So just some simple math, guys. Compounded annual growth rate, if we can grow 50% every year, their company from one, let's say, ang sales niyan, let's say it started $100 million sales, If it's growing 50% consecutively in the next 10 years, it's going to go 52x. Your $100 million will have $5.2 billion in the next 10 years. So I'm looking for companies that can grow 50% growth in the next 10 years. So ano yung mga companies na yon? Usually, guys, nasa cloud computing, e-commerce, depende how early you were. So of course, na-achieve yan ng mga penetration rates ng, like, example, I'll tell you a few 10x companies that we uncovered. C Limited is one of them. So C Limited has growth in the two very strong trends, actually 3 secular trends. You've got penetration rates in Southeast Asia. E-commerce is booming. From less than 1%, it's becoming 3 to 5%. So that's a huge move. We're talking about 5% can go even 10% or 20% in the next 10 years because we've seen Amazon go from 0 penetration rate to about 25% penetration rate. So e-commerce is a huge trend. Making $100 million revenue to $5 billion in the future 10 years. And we're talking about 7 countries, guys. We're talking about Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines. Di ko memoryado lahat eh. Basta 7 Southeast Asian countries yan. More than 700 million people. So, ganun yung mga 10x names na hinahanap ko eh. So, example na lang, I'll give you a few things. So yung games, it could have started before, maybe before, only 1 million players. In about 10 years' time, 52 million. Actually, to be honest, gamers have gone 500 million gamers today with 100 million daily average users in some games. PUBG Mobile has about $225 million revenue a month. We're seeing growth rates of 100% yearly. So when I say 50%, actually that's minimum. I'm looking for some companies that grow 100% kasi their bases are small. Just to give you some numbers, Microsoft's cloud computing started 7-8 years ago. It grew from 0 to $1 billion to now $50 billion. So I wasn't able to read, I think like recent earnings showed Microsoft Azure had 47% growth. So, hindi naman ako saktong 50 eh. Pwedeng 47, pwedeng 40% growth, pwedeng 30%. Depende kasi sa base. Like for Amazon, we're already talking about 26% growth rate. Pero we're talking in the realms of we're talking about $200 billion of sales. So medyo 20% is 40 billion growth. Medyo malaki yun. I'm okay with that. So yun. Pero hindi 10x name na si Amazon. 10x name siya if you started early on. So I hope that helps clarify. Medyo na-gets ba? Or mahirap ba ako mag-explain?
Medyo, pero okay naman.
Naiintindihan naman. If
Naiintindihan ko naman. Next question. No, I understand you're looking for a
basta
10x
pag
stock.
hindi klaro, just keep asking that I can emphasize.
Yes. No, I understand. What you're saying is you're looking for a company that could grow every year 50%, di ba? Parang 10x. And it depends on kung ano ba yung growth.
Potential talaga.
Potential growth. May mga questions, Zizo. We don't discuss forex here, and then I think Nikki already answered gold. Na she prefers stocks in the tech sector. May question si Agnes, which is really good. Like the pharma companies now because of COVID-19, di ba? Hindi magte-10x yung ibang companies talaga dyan. But syempre, medyo gamble. So what do you think? I know you're not in favor of pharma companies, but maybe can you share to newbies? Kasi syempre, if you're entering into the segment, why not, get into pharma, di ba? Because of COVID-19. So maybe share your mentality around pharma and all of these stocks.
Pharma to me is yung pharma company kasi yung X20 way research and development may na ba pinagahang I play only on my core. Naiintindihan ako. Naghahang kasi.
Naghahang yan.
Ba?
Okay na yan. Kanina nag-choppy lang.
Naghahang ng konti.
Go.
Sige. Hindi ko core competency yung mga pharma companies. Maraming vaccine plays na umangat. Like this year, yung Inovio, Novavax, Moderna. Pagpapasok ka ngayon, late ka. Kasi 30x na yung iba, 10x na yung iba in just like less than 7-12 months. Ako kasi, if I'm not competent, I don't play. I don't see the market as a play. Hindi ako nag-gamble. People might say na nag-gamble ako, pero hindi. Inaaral ko ng mabuti. Yung mga data points ko, may facts ako before I buy. So parang, even if meron pa akong facts, sasamahan ko pa yan ng technicals, tapos may position size management pa yan. So when I say position size, as I said, in my portfolio, my typical position size in every company is 5%. What does that mean? If I have $10,000 in the account, 5% is $500. Hindi ako nag-oversize. That means 20 companies I own kasi 20 secular trends. Madali lang actually yung secular trends. Pharma companies to me is not a secular trend. It's actually an event-driven play. You are making fast money there, not slow money. To me, hindi yan for me hindi yan pang-invest. Pang-trade yan. Pang-trade yan. Whether you're buying Gilead, Pfizer, yung mga Moderna. Plus, if you traded them, tapos ka na. You're up 30x if you got the right names in the right COVID vaccine. Yung mga doktor, tapos na yun. Na pinagkakitaan nila yung Moderna. Pag hindi ka kumita doon, sorry na lang. Moderna, Inovio, Novavax, dami yan. Dami rin siraulo sa COVID, Marami rin mga
so you wouldn't recommend
I'm not even sure if tama na vaccine.
So you wouldn't recommend going for them to invest on it now, no? Kasi too late na.
I don't think that they are I don't think they have the core competency, and if they had, naka 10x na sila dapat.
Okay.
Ngayon,
Next
July,
question.
tatanungin mo ko about pharma, medyo late ka na. Wala kang
Medyo
alam
late.
talaga kapag tatanong ka ngayon.
Oo.
Dalawa
Okay,
yan,
next.
late ka na, tapos hindi mo rin alam.
Okay, next. This is a good question from Will. So what would be the market cap? Ito nga, pinag-usapan mo palagi to, may mga small cap ka, may mga big caps. May, you don't go to the fangs, di ba? What's your philosophy on market cap and usual price range of the stock? Yeah. Good question.
So, price is not actually important. I could have $100 company go $1,000 company. Example, Nvidia. I chose Nvidia last year, $140. Now it's 420. Nvidia is $100 billion. Now it's about 200 plus 50, 250 billion dollar company. So I don't believe that fast growers have to be small caps. You can have so just to give you an understanding, Microsoft went 5x from about 200 billion. Now it's 1 trillion plus in just 6 years. Making 500% in 6 years is and that's because they 50x their Azure. The revenues of Azure went from $1 to $50 billion in 7 years. So you can actually have high growth companies even on the FANG names. So assuming, for instance, I'll tell you which big names do I invest and grew. Uh, Facebook is a growth stock. Tencent is a growth stock. They are so Tencent. If you bought like $330 last year, Hong Kong, 330 Hong Kong. Now it's 560, and I still think it's gonna go 1,000 to 2,000 bucks. So even if it started before, of course, if you were early talaga in Tencent, you could have bought it as low as $1. So you would have 500x ka na if you were buying early. But anyway, when I see growth, I don't really mind if it's a $10 billion company or if it's a $100 billion company. It's about what industries it's gonna grow into. I'll give you like we're up 300% on Zoom Video. Zoom Video, everyone was saying that $20 billion was expensive. Now it's what, $60 billion. So I think you have to see the market cap is not a barometer. It's actually dependent on the potential of the company. Similarly, C Limited, if you got in at about even at $60, like we were buying C Limited 30, 40, 50, 60. And actually at 60, people are saying, am I late? Am I late? Now actually C Limited is 120, and we're still saying na can you evaluate a company's e-commerce potential given that it's already growing 100% and 200% on some areas? It won't stop kasi the penetration rate, it hasn't even hit 10% in some Southeast Asian countries. So you have to check. And right now, C Limited at $100 is just $50 billion market cap. So can I see C Limited going 100, $200 billion market cap? Can it be times two, times three from current level? The answer to me is yes. For some people, this might surprise them. So I covered Spotify at 25 to $30 billion. Now Spotify is trading at $50 billion, but I still think that Spotify can be a $100 to $200 billion company. Twitter is a $30 billion company today. I think that Twitter can become a $60 to $100 billion company. So I have companies that I pick that are probably very small for some people. So for instance, we chose Boozy at $100 million. We chose Razer, which is $1.3 billion, because I see them going 10x. So like I see Razer possibly going 3 billion to 4 billion market cap. So maybe the question of market cap is dependent on, hey, how much do you think can a company like this grow? Because I don't mind. Let's say people might ask me, well, do you think that Apple can grow to $2 trillion? The answer I think is yes, because I said that Apple and Google are gonna grow as dominant market forces for wearable trends. But with that growth of Microsoft and Google and Apple in the smart wearables trend, just as they dominated, of course, the smartphone industry, I think that there are small players that will just 10x, 20x, or 30x, and those were Copen and Vuzi. So as I said, like you could say, you can make 20% on gold, but I could make 100% on a gold miner because I studied a gold miner. So that's really how I attack these secular trends. You could say you could make 3,000x on Amazon, but we could make 100x in Shopee, C Limited, because it's just beginning. The story of Southeast Asia is like 10 to 20 years in the making. I hope I answered the question. Medyo, di ko sure kung
Yes.
nasasagot yung mga tanong.
Hindi, so, ibig sabihin, depende. You're not really looking at the market cap and the pricing. Eh. So, you study the company, their potential, it doesn't matter whether they're, meron ka bang limit? Like,
pag may
meron
ability
kang
siya
limit eh.
$3 trillion.
Hindi, may na-mention
Pag may
ka limit, Nikki eh.
ability siya. Siyempre, well, kaya I see Apple going 100x. $1 trillion market cap si Apple. So, you can make maybe 100% on Apple, but you can make 1,000% on C Limited. Diba? Parang medyo simple math lang eh, guys. Kasi $50 billion lang ang C Limited ngayon eh. It can go to $500 billion. Maybe
Okay.
10 years time.
Okay. We
Diba?
have mga questions pa. May mga questions pa tayo. So, first, anin natin to. Anong advice mo nga dun sa mga natalo sa ABS?
Kasi problem with ABS, di ba, nawawalan siya ng revenue streams. So, to be honest, pag nakita mo kasing walang revenue or very bleak yung predictability of revenue, wala talaga. I'm not saying na babagsak siya ng 1 peso or 2 peso, pero syempre, hindi tayo Diyos eh. We cannot predict the future. I don't know what's gonna happen with them. I'm so sad about what happened kasi mali talaga yung ginawa ng gobyerno dito. It's a political event. I hope that they reverse that franchise. I don't know what's gonna happen with ABS. Parang for those who have shares of ABS, you can suffer more declines, pero pwede rin, I think it comes to a point na magkano ba nilagay mo dyan? Nagpasok ka ba dyan ng 100,000 pesos? Kung nagpasok ka ng 100,000 pesos, lugi ka na ng 50,000 or 20,000, kailan ka kukwit niyan? Hanggang kailan mo willing magtalo? Kasi kung kaya mo malugi ng 70-80% dyan, edi depende na sa'yo yan eh. Kasi may ibang tao, hindi na nila kaya matalo dyan, di ba? So ayoko naman mag-take ng opinion kasi iba-iba yung sitwasyon ng tao eh. Pero wala. Sad yung Philippines kasi ginaganyan si ABS. Naawa nga ako sa ABS-CBN eh. Parang
Okay.
mali.
Alright. Next question.
Hindi ko, wala akong tamang sagot dyan.
Oo. Okay. Nix, etong next question, hindi ko naintindihan.
Hindi ako guys masyado nagle-leverage na, kasi for me, if I leverage, kailangan tama ako tomorrow. Kasi may bayad interest rate yan. Siyempre, mababa lang interest rate ngayon ng mundo eh. 1.5% a year lang. Pero, to be honest, ang daming trends, guys. Parang for me, napaka-lazy ko kung gold lang yung best play ko eh. Kung I mean, if you even just listen to my class, halos araw-araw nakikita nyo na, uy, may pera sa e-commerce, may pera sa video games. Sure, may pera din sa gold. Parang kung gold lang nakikita nyo, guys, masyado namang maliit yung mundo mo. Kaya mong kumita sa video games, kaya mong kumita sa YouTube, kaya mong kumita sa Instagram, ang daming pera sa mundo eh. Cloud computing, ang daming pera. Yung mga Chinese companies na sa dating apps, kaya rin kumita dyan. So, para sa akin, kinakalat ko sa maraming magagandang kumpanya kasi may Miss Universe eh. Hindi mo kailangan ng isang company. 15. Actually, ang tip ko sa lahat, 15 to 20 names. Ang dami, sobrang maganda sa mundo, guys.
Okay, Nix, ito, specific question.
Sa subscription model yun. So, gusto ko yun.
Ito, may specific question. Kung may 200,000 ka on port, any advice on allocation?
Nagle-lever ako pero slight lang. Hindi naman sobra-sobra. Kasi mura interest rate ngayon eh.
Mm-mm. Okay, Nix, ito a question. With 200K on port, any advice on allocation? Nikki. Wait lang guys. So we're maybe Nikki needs to re-enter the studio lang. We're getting all your questions. Okay, so we're getting all your questions. We're at Mozet na. Okay, I'll answer some of the questions. Is that okay when you live in the Philippines? You could use the interactive brokers while trading in the US. Yes, definitely. And this is actually what we're educating Filipinos. You could actually trade global stocks, buy global stocks while you're in the Philippines. And there's only actually $1 per transaction fee. Yung interactive brokers, you can buy fractional shares. So, for example, if Amazon is 3,300, you don't necessarily need to buy one share. No, you can buy $100 of Amazon. So it's fractional shares. And this is what actually we're educating Filipinos. We are not limited to the Philippine stock market. You could actually get access to the US and China markets. We're waiting for Nikki to join in. All right, yan na. Nandiyan na si Nikki.
Hi. Uy, sorry,
Yon.
nawalan ako ng internet. Ito, mas mabuti na. Sorry guys. Ulit.
Okay na.
Yung tanong sa akin, kung mataas conviction ko sa ginto, okay lang naman sa akin mag-leverage, guys. So usually, I'll tell you what, I have about 20 companies Minsan, so sa 20 companies, pag nawalan ako ng pera, naka-leverage 24 companies. So may konting leverage ako. So yun, okay lang sa akin. So I allocate, mga 5% of my position is in gold. Hindi ko naman kasi kailangan mag-all-in. Kasi ang daming trends, ang ganda Social media, digital advertising, streaming. Like yung mga Spotify na ginagawang moves this year, grabe, ang ganda nun. Kahapon, kung nanood kayo, July 24, di ba? Yung Taylor Swift na album, grabe, ang ganda ng mga cardigan. Spotify, sobrang panalo dun, guys. Taylor Swift made 120 million streams in just one day.
Wow.
Let me answer this. With 200,000 on port, grabe. Sobrang lakas ng Spotify. So, tanga na, walang tanga ka talaga kayo. Gusto nyo sasabihin, ang tanga-tanga nyo ba kayo? Parang sinasabi na nga araw-araw, tanga pa rin. Gusto nyo po kumitang pera, sinabi na nga with $4,000 on port, any advice or allocation, yeah, you can invest. So sa $4,000, you probably chop it to about 15 names. 15 na gusto mo. So gawa ka ng parang shopping list. Kunwari, gusto ko sa gaming ko, gusto ko ng Tencent and C Limited. Sa e-commerce ko, nandun si C Limited. So pwede na rin. Let's say, gusto ko ng streaming. So pipili ako. Gusto ko may Disney ako, may Netflix ako, meron ako Roku. Gusto ko rin ng streaming ng music and audio. So dapat meron ako Spotify. So gawa ka muna ng shopping list mo. Tapos, usually, lalagyan mo yan 5% allocation. So sa $4,000 account, you can actually buy $200. Now, you might say, Nikki, ang konti naman, $200 lang. Kasi guys, to be honest, sa dami kasi ng company na maganda, guys, ang dami talaga. Parang nakakainis kung isang kumpanya ka lang. To be honest, parang ang dami kasi maganda So, kailangan mo bilhin lahat. For me, 15 companies, strive to have 15 companies. Ang maganda sa 15 companies, hindi ka umaasa na yung kabuhayan mo, si Amazon lang talaga magdadala ng buong portfolio mo. Or let's say, meron sa 5% mo si Tesla. Siyempre, minsan isipin mo, shock, sana nilagay ko lahat ng pera ko kay Tesla, di sobrang saya ko. Actually, not true kasi ang daming companies namin na nag 300% kahit di naman Tesla So, hindi mo kailangan mag-all-in. Like example, nung Friday, nag 50% up yung isang pick namin, si Eman. Yung AMD, in 2 days, nag 20+% habang bumabagsak si Tesla. So, maganda yung diversification. Maganda yung parang, like, kunwari, Square na lang, guys, 37, ngayon, 130. So, diba? Yung C Limited na nga lang C Limited, 800% up this year, alam nyo ba? So parang, ano ba kayo? Parang, bakit yung mata nyo nandun lang sa gold? Ang daming gaganda, ang daming maganda. Ano ba yan? Hindi naman pwedeng isa lang yung buhay nyo. Sa stocks, hindi ka pwedeng monogamous sa stocks. 15. Kung babae, may 15 na babae ka. Kung guys naman, 15 guys. Dapat player ka sa stocks, you have to be a player. 15 kasi, like kunwari, kahit naman si Taylor Swift parang ganito yan, ang stocks medyo similar yan, gumagawa ka ng team. Parang parehas yan sa basketball team, parehas yan sa mga artists Dapat may Ed Sheeran ka, dapat may Taylor Swift ka, may isang Eminem ka, tapos meron kang MGK, tapos meron kang Billie Eilish, yung bata-bata na parang, uy, rising star tong si Billie Eilish, kailangan meron ako dyan. Pero kailangan meron din ako yung mga malalakas talaga forever. So, ito si Taylor Swift, all-time high pa to. Pero hindi ko bibitawan si Madonna, parang ganon. Gets nyo ba? Parang, hindi kayo pwedeng, sa market, hindi ka pwede stick to one. Kasi, marami maganda. Tapos yung sinasabi ng leverage, 1.5% a year. So, kunwari, naubos mo na yung $4,000 mo, di nakabili ka na ng $200 to $300 each, no? So, let's say, nakabili ka na ng 10 kumpanya within maybe a month or so, or 2 months siguro. Huwag mo masyado i-pressure sarili mo na isang araw pa lang, nabili mo na yung 10. Although yung ibang tao, isang araw pa lang, nabili na nila yung 10. So, sinasabi ko, guys, masyado kayong trigger happy. Okay lang naman. Pero, next month, baka bumaba 30%, kailangan may pangbili kang $200. The reason why we're doing it $200 is parang may approach ka na long-term ka. Kasi, kung yung $200 mo, nag 50% up man din, $100 up on your $4,000 portfolio, it's big, pero it's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna make you rich, but it's not gonna kill you rin. So, yun yung maganda. Parang ang goal mo is yung 4,000 mo, mapalago natin yan ng 5,000, yung 5,000 mo aangat. So, overtime, ang ganda ng feeling na overtime kumikita ka, na nakaka 50-100% ka. Hindi ako naglalabas, guys, ng 20% win. We're talking about 10x journey to. So, 10 years tayo naghahawak ng winners. Although, pwede ka mag-trim. Pero wag lahat.
Okay, next question. Meron bang training videos ang Interactive Brokers? And then yung, what's the best way to understand the lingo nga? Yung support and resistance, long and short, you know? Wait, nawala na naman si Nikki. Waiting for Nikki to reconnect. So, does Interactive Brokers have training video? Hi Agnes. I'm actually not sure. We created some videos on how to buy in Interactive Brokers, pero yung actual Interactive Brokers, parang wala siyang training video. Understanding stock lingo, sige, we'll ask Nikki what's the best way to, what's the best way to learn the lingo?
Well, ng internet. Pasensya, andito.
Oo, ano bang internet mo,
Sorry.
Nikki? PLDT.
Nawala na naman ako. Naririnig niyo ba ako ngayon?
Oo, yes. We can hear
Sobrang
you.
sama, guys, PLDT. Sorry.
Okay.
And actually, right now, I'm using my mobile phone. So, this is Globe.
Sumasama
Mahina
pa
Globe
din.
ko.
Okay.
Navigating the app. Wala, guys. Sobrang simple lang naman. Mag-tutorial kayo. May YouTube tutorial niyan.
Okay. Oh,
Matuto
YouTube.
kayo mag-Google search.
Yeah. Agnes, YouTube. Sa YouTube,
Meron. Mag-type ka lang ng tutorial how to use IBKR mobile. Meron yan.
How about the lingo ng stocks?
How to order.
Hindi, yung stock
How to
investing
post a
lingo.
limit. Ganun lang.
How do you learn?
Magtanong ka sa akin, sagutin kita. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung...
Mahaba ng sagot mo eh.
I mean, i-google mo. Actually, kasi lahat naman ng mga tanong kaya sagutin ng Google, guys. Ginugoogle nyo ba or ginagawa nyo lang akong question and answer encyclopedia? Oh, sige, game.
Pwede naman eh. Gusto mo naman sagutin. Anyway, next question. On tech. Ito on tech. Yeah, this is a good question. I want to know the answer. Do you use a market cap versus...
Depende sa growth. Depende how critical. Depende how ang question is, Nag-iisa lang ba yan? Is it the only one? Kasi kung walang iba, monopoly siya, so market share niya sobrang laki, pwede siya maging expensive. So for a long time, wala naman dating, kasi actually sa tech, hindi masyado importante talaga yung earnings kasi innovation yung importante dyan. So ang kailangan talaga sa tech is sobra bang critical niya, tapos walang sinabi yung mga market share ng iba. Example na lang. So one of the most expensive in the remote work collaboration is Zoom Video. So Zoom Video is trading at $60 billion market cap. Even in February, we were buying $20 billion cap. People were already saying na parang ang mahal yan. Why are you buying at 20 billion? Because the revenues was barely $1 billion. So we're talking about revenues would have been 500 million or 600 million. Actually, Zoom Video came out this year, yung first quarter results niya, 169% growth. Tapos yung total number of users, participant meetings went from 10 million to 300 million. Meetings yun So it doesn't, kunwari, ngayon, di ba, dalawa kami or 10 participants, isa lang naman nagbayad, pero 10 kayo. So, yung 300 million meeting participants doesn't mean 300 million subscribe. But it tells you how wide the usage was from 10 to 300 million participants. So, you have to ask yourself, does this company have the market potential to have 100 million users? And so far, yung revenues niya, ni-raise guidance niya to $3 billion. So for those who aren't aware, a Zoom video connection is every month. Every month, yung basic plan is $15. So times mo 12, $180. Nandyan lahat ng competition. Merong Facebook na alternative si Zoom. Tapos meron din si Cisco, si WebEx. Meron din si Microsoft also has. Meron si Slack Connect. So marami yan. I think like there are hundreds of Zoom video clones. But the reason why Zoom video is Zoom video and why it's priced expensively is because people don't want to change kahit na libre yung iba. Plus, honestly, like ako, when I conduct my classes, I don't use Facebook. I use Zoom video. So, meron marami, like 300 million of us believe in Zoom video. So, if you dominate a certain niche, kahit na isang niche category na video conferencing, you can actually be a $500 billion company. So the question is, how big, how dominant, and if all your competitors are nothing, then you can actually trade as expensive as you can go. So ngayon, 60 divided by 3, 20 times price to sales. Kasi nag-times 3 yung ang taas ng revenues nung company basis.
Next question. We're running out of time, no? But there are two similar questions, no? The first, I'll ask the first question muna. What is the best way to find stocks with big potential? What are your parameters? And this is related to John's question, no? Paano ka ba, Nikki, nakakahanap ng magagandang company sa US and you are in the Philippines, updated ka sa mga company sa US? Nakakahanap ka ng maganda. Yon. Anong sikreto mo, Nikki?
Sir, people kasi assume na parang kinukuha ko lang yung pics ko from the clouds. What people don't know is I spend about 5 to 6 hours daily. Every single day, I listen to podcasts, I watch a lot of videos. I actually read a lot of things. You might think na Zoom video, I actually got Zoom video early on. Last year ko pa yan inaaral. $36 IPO pa lang. So at 60, 70, 80 this year, I knew kahit mahal yan, naangat yan. So hindi na-replace ng hard work yung, hard work I could be living in Hong Kong, Brazil, anywhere else in the world. Naman kasi internet. Alam niyo naman, pangit internet ko pero if I can access data, i-google ko lang lahat yan kaya ko naman ma-search lahat. The nice thing about abroad is all the data is free. Kaya mo basahin lahat ng gusto mo basahin kung gusto mo basahin. Hard work ako. Tapos sa 10x, well, sinasabi ko naman sa ng tao kung gusto niyo malaman yung picks, you can just watch my awesome 10x channel. If you want to know them, deep dive ko yan. Bibigay ko sa inyo every day, 1 hour yan, class. Of course, some of you know that kasi nag-watch kayo ng free Friday classes ko. yung Free Friday class ko, 1 hour lang naman yung pinapanood yan. Ang di nyo alam is, baka 10 hours ko prepare yan eh. And sometimes, baka yung class na yon, alam ko na yung stock na yan, pinag-aaralan ko na siya for last 6 months or 3 months ago pa. So, or maybe 1 year ago. Like this quarter, pinag-usapan din yung YY. Last year ko pa alam yung YY, guys. Pero parang, ang dami kasing magandang company eh. Live streaming platform, sasabihin mo ba sa akin na this week ko lang nalaman na maganda mag-invest sa live streaming platform? Syempre hindi. Ang dami-dami kumikita sa YouTube. Ano ba naman kayo? Ilang taon na yan. Yung iba nga kumikita ng milyon, di ba? O si Ivan Alawi, 3 million pesos a month. So, I mean, how do you detect 10x trends? Unang-una, tanungin mo sarili mo, malaki ba yung revenue potential ng industry na yan? Kasi kung yung industry na yan, from 10 million users, naging 100 million users, from 100 million gamers, nagiging 1 billion gamers, edi syempre may pera dyan. O kayo, nagsabi na kayo, ang daming trends na ngayon. Meron trend gaming, meron trend sa entertainment. Kawawa si ABS-CBN. O si ABS-CBN naman, kaya naman kumita yun, mag-Netflix siya. Magbenta siya ng license sa Netflix. Magbenta si ABS-CBN ng mga advertisement online. Digital advertising. Wala naman talaga siyang choice, di ba? Kailangan niya mag-pivot eh. Digital revolution naman tayo eh. He can make a lot of money streaming. Great. Ang dami. Like si Ninja, kumikita na $500,000 alone niya. So yung problem ko is that, syempre, I'll tell you what, Disney owns like Hotstar. Hotstar is the competition of Netflix. Now, ba't ang dami kong alam? Kasi inaaral ko, tanungin mo ko ng healthcare. I can probably mention a few names lang, pero hindi ko alam in-depth yan. Medyo obsessive ako sa mga companies na gusto ko. Hindi kailangan company. If gusto ko yung company, kung gusto ko yung isang sector, aaralin ko yan, kahit artist yan. Taylor Swift, ano naman yung point na alam ko yung mga songs ni Taylor Swift? Well, you might say, anong pake ko kung alam ko yung bawat kanta ni Taylor Swift? Ganun ako eh. Kung gusto ko yung company, alam ko yan. Kahit yung artist, alam ko rin yan. So, I think yung Cardigan, The One, lahat ng tracks niya, umaangat ngayon. So, it's positive to Spotify. I can correlate to what's happening at trend and which companies are benefiting. Pero, secret sauce ko siguro hard work. Nothing replaces hard work. Ano pa? Actually, yung hard work ko naman, makukuha rin yun. Kasi, I also surround myself to if I say this. Siyempre, yung
Nick's, you're a bit choppy lang.
Nandun sa Awesome TEDx class, sa subscription is, hindi ko lang ni-release out to the public. If you're paid, nandun, you just go to hashtag, sa Slack channel namin, nandun yung libro. Hindi sa mga paid users. Mababasa nila.
Okay.
Ano pa?
May mga question pa, Nix. Let's close this na. We have a watcher from audience from Malaysia, but this is related to the PSEI. Where do you screen stock trends in PSEI?
Hi.
Is there such a thing
Hello.
as stock trends in the Philippines? Nix.
So sa Philippines, let me tell you what, Gilbert. In the Philippines kasi, we only have in total 250 stocks. Sa totoo lang, hindi ko nga wala ng screener sa Philippines eh. Kasi sa US, kailangan ko pa ng screener kasi we're talking about thousands.
English.
Sa Philippines, 250 stocks. Tapos ilan lang ba active dyan? 100? Less than 50? Kaya ko naman aralin 50 companies lang. Yung lit-lit lang yung list na yan. 50 lang. Sobrang konti. Hindi mo nakakala ng screeners sa konti ng distance sa Pilipinas. Category lang yan. Philippines yung kaya growth. Kung wala, edi wala. Ganun lang yung dyan.
Okay. I think I'm not sure if
kaya 50% growth. Edi wala. Hindi siya mag-fit sa criteria ko.
Okay. I think Gilbert is I'm not sure if he understands Tagalog though. So I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm sorry. What I meant is that the Philippine universe is too small. I don't really need a screener because it's like less than 100 companies that are actually actively being traded. And I could say like maybe less than 50 companies have liquidity. When I say liquidity, it's my ability to enter and exit without a huge slippage. So because there's a very few available lists to even be able to trade, I do not need a screener. You
Okay.
only need screeners if we're talking about thousands. 50 is a small list.
Okay, Nikki. You answered the books na kanina. You said 100 baggers. Pero may last question dito. Maybe you want to answer. Nix. Nikki.
Ano yung tanong?
Are you
What
married
books
or
do you
single?
recommend for starters?
Hindi, nasagot mo na yan eh. 100 baggers,
I'm
diba?
not
Sabi.
I'm not yet married. Yeah, 100 baggers. Yeah, read that 100 baggers. Go to Motley Fool's podcast. Solid foundation. Kaya ko, one book doesn't change your life, guys. Spend 3 hours. Why don't you listen 3 hours podcast every day if you want to really improve? Try to listen to Motley Fool's podcast. Or try to listen to Mrs. Trader like me. I have a podcast. Try to listen. Or watch our videos every day. Let me see if you don't improve. Awesome tendencies like every day. If you cannot even follow me 15 minutes a day, you won't succeed, guys. 30 minutes na nga lang eh. Binigay ko na nga sa inyo eh. What I'm saying is that there is no secret to hard work. One book doesn't change you to become a better investor. It's consistency. So you have to listen to podcasts. I gave Money Fool podcast. You can listen to my videos. You can watch our videos. It's every day, constant. 15 minutes every day, 1 hour a day. Try to spend your time learning trends. Like if you're studying cloud computing, study cloud computing. Spend an hour on cloud computing. If you want to brush up your knowledge in making money on gold miners, why don't you spend an hour every day to try to study that trend? Like which companies inside the gold mining trends can I actually buy that has a huge potential to go up? Really, that's nothing replaces hard work. There was a question. Ano yung tanong? Hindi ko
May,
yata answer eh.
Hindi, nasagot mo na. Nix,
Can you pop up the question again?
okay. Next question na. Next question. Ito yung next question.
Huh?
Cyber security companies. Any recommendation?
My internet sucks.
Oo nga.
Brokerage firms?
No, cyber security.
Brokerage firms to open accounts. We made video how advise retail firms.
Hindi. Iba to.
Cybersecurity. I'm a bit weak here. Trying to study CrowdStrike. I haven't studied this.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah. So cybersecurity companies right now. I'm not in masyado, pero CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Network, Akamai, Fortinet, try to study those. And then study further. I haven't studied yet. I haven't studied cybersecurity companies, but I do think it's a trend. The Twitter hack was proof that people spend a lot on cybersecurity. Palo Alto Networks has been doing well in their revenues. So PANW, CrowdStrike, CRWD, study them.
Okay.
There's actually guys that I follow when I want to learn more. Hypergrowth, Hypergrowth, something like that. His Twitter handle is that name. So he's an expert in software companies. That's one thing that you have to learn. Your edge you need to learn. You may be the smartest guy in the room yesterday, but if you're not constantly learning, you will be the dumbest person tomorrow. So it's kind of the same with stocks. You have to innovate yourself. Like you can't tell me now, oh, I know everything about e-commerce. Whatever you know about e-commerce yesterday isn't the same tomorrow. Do you know that e-commerce and entertainment is already merging? You know, diba? Like you have to understand what's up to date. You have to update yourself. Because what you might think is expensive might actually be cheap. You might think that it's expensive, but it's not. If it's growing like 50%, like Alibaba's growing 50% even after 20 years. Can you imagine having a company grow that huge and still growing that big? Nawawala ako
Nikki,
eh. Hina ng net ko.
anyway, we need to close this. Nikki, let's last question na lang. Ito na lang. How do you buy in tranches during sell down or breakouts?
Yeah.
How do you buy? Or you
Ano yung
buy...
last question?
Yan na. Nakita mo ba? How do you buy in tranches?
How do I buy?
In
5%
tranches?
of portfolio. I just buy.
Okay.
I sometimes buy a breakout if I think that it's a fundamental change. So example, like last week, Twitter, for me, that was a breakout that I had to buy. I don't care if it falls to this week. I'll add more if it drops. So I look at it more as a percentage weight of my asset allocation. So I could allocate maybe a small percent, hit it up, or 5% with the goal of increase 15%. Usually, the highest weight I assign for a company is 15%. Like sobrang mahal ko na siya kapag 15% allocation of my portfolio. This assumes that my portfolio is static. If my portfolio is going up, example, if I'm increasing my cash there, let's say I start with $10,000, and then I can invest another $10,000. That means that every year I'm investing in my portfolio, dinadagdagan ko ng cashan. So yung $500 ko dati na 5% can go as high as $1,500, and yet 1,500 over 20,000 is already just 7.5% of my weight. So yeah, so I think like I buy in all kinds. I buy in tranches, I buy in sell downs, I buy in breakouts, I buy in any kind. It depends. If I really see potential, doesn't matter. I don't really mind. Pero right now, yeah, like wearables, I'm okay to buy it on a sell off if they fall. Like pag sa kanila yung Copen and Vuzi, I'm okay to buy.
Yeah, Nikki, let's close this. I think it's almost an hour na rin. Maybe we'll do this weekly. Any final thoughts today? Close this session.
Yeah, guys. So making 10x is actually surrounding yourself and investing in winners. You can follow me on Faces Trader. My Twitter is @FacesTrader. You can also watch our show. Thank you for watching our show. Awesome 10x channel is meant to educate you in the awesome 10x worlds that you might never have imagined. So we're talking about worlds. We're talking about categories. We're talking about cloud computing, artificial intelligence, smartphones, smart glasses, e-commerce, entertainment platforms, payments, gaming, AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, online education, sobrang lawak. There's a ton. I can't enumerate all the trends, but if your mind is always just one-minded, dyan kayo matatalo eh. You have to see that there's so many wonderful people in the world who are capable to also make wonderful companies, to always have a mindset to find great companies, invest in great and insanely great companies. Do not go for pretty decent. So I said actually na parang if you're gonna invest, it's either A or A+++. I don't even want to look at FCs and Ds. Parang nonsense of my time eh. Just really find A++ companies. I hope that that's a good lesson for you. And follow me consistently. Follow me on Twitter, our YouTube channel. We're always here.
All right. Thank you, guys. Maybe, Nikki, let's do this every week na lang just to answer newbie, ask you anything on this. I do hope hindi ka mawala ng pasensya
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to answer all the questions of our audience sa Awesome 10X. All right. My
Kaya ako
name is
galit,
Antonio.
guys. Ganito lang ako magsalita. Don't worry. Ganito lang ako magsalita, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. Salamat. Thanks for watching. Thanks for asking. Salamat.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Salamat, salamat.